Miller. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Basking Ridge, New Jersey, and I go live every Wednesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time to share with you some of the things that I've been working on. And I've been making lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Christmas cards, so that is what we are going to do today. So let's hop on over and see what we've got. Here we go. All right. So today I'm going to share with you two of the cards from my Ultimate Christmas Card class. Now, this class is closed already and has been delivered to all the recipients. It was a class of 20 cards, 10 card designs, 2 of each. And so it was a very, very big project for me. And these are 2 of the cards. And so I thought I would share them with you. I also have a tutorial that I made for the class. It is a PDF tutorial as well as videos that go with each card to show how it's made. And I am selling that bundle for $10. So if that's something that you might like, it includes these 2 cards, card designs. So if you are interested in that, just check out my link in my bio. So, but let's get started. So again, I said these are 2 of the cards, and these both use the traditional labels dies and some of the stamps as well. And you can see that this has lots of different seasonal messages that can be paired together, and many of them are curvy. We're not actually going to use the curvy ones today. We'll do that in another session, but you can see just how pretty they are with the pretty fonts and everything. And the best part about this bundle are the dies, I think. These dies are great for all year round. So this was the first product that I bought from the mini catalog because I said, oh my goodness, I love having labels for my sentiments all year long. I make so many cards where really the only die cutting that I do, well, that's not true, but where I have a lot of labels, and the only stamping that we tend to do is on those labels. And I like to make sure that I have different shapes and textures and things. So let me just share with you what these actually look like when they're cut out. One of the things I just learned yesterday, Stampin' Up! Has a class actually that you can register for and get the links for, where they feature the Traditions of Christmas suite. And this particular bundle is part of that suite. And one of the cards that the designer of the set made, she shared that when she was designing, she deliberately put these cut lines in. And that was really just for textural and, just to give it a different look. It does make some of these a little bit tricky to cut out because when they often will be inside the die, and you just have to be careful that you don't tear them when you pull them out, but it definitely will make it look a lot more interesting if you do that. So when you use them. And the other thing that she shared, so you can see this is one of them that has the cutouts, they actually slid a piece of cardstock underneath the edge and across so that it just gave a different look to the die. So I thought that was really interesting, and I'm going to play with that and bring you something done with that sometime in the future. But you can see these fabulous shapes that we have. They can even be layered inside of each other. Like, for example, you could use 2 different colors and do it that way. And let's see, we've got this one. So this is a fabulous banner die. Check out that detail right there, right? Isn't that fun? And like I said, many of the stamps in this set are curved. So they are meant to go in here. And like I said, we'll do that another day. But here's another one of those die cuts that has the little edges cut out. And yet another one, this one has this is the one that they showed us how to do in that particular class, which you can have access to as well. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you what it was that we used. So let's go ahead and make our cards. They're very quick. So this card uses the Traditions of Christmas designer series paper. So you can see all the names are kind of the same because they belong to the same suite. So that's where we got all of that. So let me pull out my supplies. And this is actually a fun fold card. So this one is cut, and the dimensions are all in the notes below this video, in case you want to use them. But you can see that I cut off 1 inch of the card front, right? And I took that 1 inch and I actually trimmed it down, and I made it into this 1 inch strip, and I scored it at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to just give that a little nice crease. Where's my scoring bone? Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll use my fingernail. It's here somewhere. I've got a lot going on here. So, and I'm going to use this is called tear and tape. And this tape is very strong. And it's, I think, our strongest adhesive that we currently have besides wet. Wet adhesive, it tends to be the strongest, but you have to let it dry it. And I'm not the most patient person in the whole world. So I don't like to use it as often as I use something like tear and tape. But I'm going to take this, and you can see it's just double-sided tape on a roll, and I'm going to put 2 little pieces here on the folded edge, and I'm going to adhere that down, and I'm going to quickly peel off the backing so you can see. Whoop, not get into my trash can too well. Over here, come on. So you can see that it's 2 strips of very strong adhesive. And what I'm going to do is open up the card, and I'm folding that back so that it's straight, and I'm lining up this score line with the very, very edge of the card. Now I'm going to pull it down a little bit. You could actually put it wherever you want, but it makes a kind of latch so that the card will close like that. Okay, so now that we've done that, I'm going to take my white inside for this card, and I'm using my regular Stampin' Seal. It's a nice strong adhesive as well. And I'm putting that on the inside, and it's going to cover up that little mechanism there so that it all flows nicely. So that we've got that. Okay, you see how this is coming together. Now I'm going to take the designer series paper, and you can see that it's another design from that same package. So there are I use 2 different designs. You could also use the back side. This one has this lovely checkerboard, if you will. And we're going to go ahead and put that down onto the Real Red mat. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to put it on the center of the front of the card. And you can see how that is going to line up. So we're going to have a little bit of that white showing. But I want to make sure I don't put any adhesive here. Okay, so what you can do is put your adhesive on the back. What I like to do is make sure that I put 1 line of adhesive onto the paper so that I know that I'm not going to get it, on some place where I don't want it. And then I'm going to put maybe 2 more lines because this is going to open and close. And I don't think this paper has an up and a down. You might think it does, but I did not. And so now we have our card, and you can see how that works. And now we're going to put our little message here. This is going to be "'Tis the Season" with my Real Red ink pad. Opening that up, and "'Tis the Season" is on. I've already mounted it on my block. One of the things that you're going to find when you use red or any shade of red, you're going to find that your clear photopolymer stains, and there's really nothing you can do about it. The good news is you can still see through it. Sometimes it gets a little bit mucky, but it should still be okay. I'm going to actually stamp that again. Our paper's 2-sided, so I'm going to flip it over and do it one more time. Felt like that was a little crooked. Sometimes have trouble seeing because I do have a camera in my face, and it looks like I did it again, but that's okay. I'm going to let it go. And I'm just going to use my regular adhesive, and I'm going to put it onto that strip. And the card is just about done. Everything's so much easier when everything's pre-cut for you, isn't it? So here we go. That's what that looks like. And again, all the measurements are in the comments of this particular, on this video. So I'm also going to use these are called traditional sparkling sequins, and they are also in that same suite. They are currently not available, but they will be back a little closer to Thanksgiving. But they're worth waiting for. Remember, you probably don't send your Christmas cards out that early. But you can see there are 4 different colors and 3 different sizes. So I'm going to use one of each size, and I'm using the gold ones. And I'm making my visual triangle. I've got, 2 up here, and then I'm going to use the medium-sized one. Oops, like I already used the medium-sized one. Whoops, not paying attention. And then I'll use the big one down here. And that just helps to draw the eye around the card. And you can see I did the same on this one. 1, 2, and 3. So that's the first card. And so let's go quickly and make the second card. And it is even quicker. Even quicker card. So this is a crumb cake base we have, and so I've got some very vanilla. So we have, some neutrals. We have basic beige. We have basic white or white willow. White willow is our 12 by 12, pretty much the same weight as the basic white, which is 8.5 by 11. And then we have very vanilla as well. So that's what I'm using for this. I didn't want something as harsh. And so now I'm going to take some designer series paper. And this paper is from the Elegant Pine Snowflakes set of papers. And I just love this particular combination of colors. It's still Christmassy. This reverse side doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas, but I think this one screams Christmas, right? But it's in the shape of snowflakes. So I'm just going to put this piece at the top, and I did leave a little border here, but none on the sides. And then I just took 2 strips of cardstock. This one is Secret Sea. It's one of our in colors for this year. It's a beautiful blue. It's almost like, it's like such a deep navy with I think it has a hint of a green to it as well. But that is the color in the background you can see here. And then I'm going to take my real red, and we're going to use that as well. That's also a 1/2 inch strip. And these are going edge to edge. Now, something I'm finding, and I think it's my paper cutter, and so it is something, I know I've mentioned this before, but sometimes things don't match up, even though it didn't get quite to the edge. So what I will do afterwards is I'm just going to use my paper trimmer and, even it all out. And it's only, you can see it's barely like a 1/16 of an inch. But I do think it's my paper cutter, and I do need to do something about that. So I apologize. But when I'm cutting paper, I usually cut, for 40 cards at a time, at least. For this particular class, I was cutting for 60 at a time. So I guess my trimmer got a little tired. So anyway, we're going to use Shaded Spruce. And for this card, I didn't realize it. The stamp that I'm using is actually not from the traditional labels. I thought it was, and I learned right before I went live that it's actually from the Modern Ornament stamp set. And it's another great bundle, but you could easily use any of these. But because I wanted to make sure that I created the same card, I did use this stamp. And I'm just stamping it onto the center of that label, which of course was cut with the traditional labels. And you can see I did not do a very good job with that, but you get the idea. Let's look at this card and look how beautiful that is, right? It's straight and everything, but we're going to go ahead and apply this to the card with some dimensionals, which we didn't use on the previous card. That may be a first for me. I almost always use dimensionals. And now that I say that, I cannot find my dimensionals. See, they're certainly right here, but they seem to have gotten moved. So I apologize, but oh, there they are. I knew they were here. Just got buried. So many things, so many classes. Had a class last night, so everything is, I did put things away, but then that happens, right? You put things away, you can't find them. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and put that on with my dimensionals, and I'm going to put it up here. I probably will replace that, I have to admit. And then I took some of this specialty twine, which has gold woven through it. So it's actually called black and white and gold twine, and this is the white and black one. This is the white and gold one, and then there's also another roll that has black and gold. So what I did was I had a long string and I tied a bow, and there it is. And I'm going to use a glue dot. Now, if you subscribe to Paper Pumpkin, or if you get any of our kits, you will often have sheets of these left over. And so that's where this glue dot is coming from. But we also sell them, and they come on a roll. So that's something to look for. But these are nice and easy. I can keep them on my desk, and that's what I do. And that way I don't waste. So here's my bow, and I will trim that as well. But let's, before we go, put our little pretty sequence. So we're going to make that visual triangle again. This time I'll do it the way I really like to do it. I like to do big, small, and then I pull down to the bottom with the medium so that it draws the eye around the card. And this one really pops. So let's look at this card because it's better. The sample is always better. So there we go. That is card number 2. And so here are the 2 cards. And again, if you're interested in purchasing the tutorial that contains these 2 cards plus 8 other designs, including a couple of other fun folds, please check out my link in my bio. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next week at the same time. Take care. Bye-bye.